Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 37 of season 2024. Devil's Slide is finally complete, and this whole section has been completed. Now, as far as basic scenery, I will come back and do a lot of details like the river, as you can see. But I did get it pretty much all done, and I think looking pretty sharp. Make sure you like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. And if you want to become a member, that would be awesome. I want to thank all those who are our members and your support of this channel. This video is being posted on Saturday for members, and of course regularly on Sunday for everybody else. Just one of the perks that we have for members. Now, last week you knew that we had the Devil's Slide mountain up and the rock castings done for the two rock formations, and definitely had some issues to do with covering things up with the mirror so that we didn't have a double version of Devil's Slide. So this week, first thing I attacked was coloring the rock work for the two rock formations. This rock here in the Weber Valley, the Weber River Canyon, is mostly gray with a little bit of brown and orange in there, more earth colors. When we get to the Echo Canyon, we'll transition over to mostly the orange and red colors. But for this particular case, I'm using the leopard striping, or the leopard method of coloring the rock castings. I have 4 mixtures here, and I'm doing the 3 primary colors, or the 3 colors. The primary color is the gray. That's the one on the second to the left, and that's a 1:16 mixture of water and gray color. The other 2 colors, the secondary colors, are the orange there. It's I think it's raw sienna or something like that, or burnt sienna possibly, and then black. So those are the secondary colors. And then we have another mixture. The second mixture of gray is again the primary color, but this time 1:32. 1 parts paint to 32 parts water. So what you do is you put the spots of the primary color, then the secondary colors, and then when you're done with that, then you come back and cover the entire thing with the primary color again, but this time with the 1:32 mixture, and just kind of smooth and mix them all together. And since it's at a higher water ratio than the primary and secondary colors, it does a really good job of blending it all together. It doesn't get rid of them by any means, but it just kind of blends them together so you have a pretty realistic look. And I was really happy with the way these came out. Here you have them actually on the mountain. So again, it's mostly gray with some black colors mixed in there, and also some of the brown. As I put more and more of the primary color on there, the brown kind of disappeared more than anything. But I think it's a pretty close match to the rock work on the prototype. As you can see, though, I still have the issue of the image in the mirror. So I still needed to attack that, but wanted to first get the rock castings colored appropriately. I do have one. The one on the left is up a little bit from the one on the right, which is per the prototype. Now here, one thing I noticed when I was looking at the prototype pictures is there's also some other rocks laying around. So just on the left side of this picture, here you can see a better close-up picture. There is some rockiness nearby, and on both the right and on the left. The one on the right there is pretty far away, but the ones on the left here are pretty much right at the same location. So I wanted to get some rocks going. So there'll be rocks around that may have fallen off of the rock formation, and then just some that were some other rocks underneath the ground cover. So I used the same rock molds, and I just laid the plaster on one, and then I put the other one. I have two of these thin layer rock molds. I just put the plaster on one, I put the other one on top, and pushed it together. When it was dry, I pulled it off and was planning on taking a hammer to break them into little pieces, but actually it just happened. They were so thin, and I kind of took the molds off before it was completely dry. So the rocks broke up on their own and was not an issue at all. And then again, using the same method. Now, since they were so small, I didn't really have the same opportunity to blend them, but it still worked out great. We still use the same method with the gray, and then came in with the black, and then finally with the gray again. I think I put some raw sienna in there also. And here I'm putting some of the raw sienna on. When I first put it on, it looks pretty bright for the raw sienna, but then when you put the final gray coat in there, which is the primary color, it really washes out pretty good. Here I'm getting the 1:32. In the description, by the way, I have a link to a video that I got this method from. It's an 11-year-old video by Woodland Scenics. When they came out with coloring for paint for coloring rocks. I don't think they make the paint anymore, but the video's still posted. And if you want to see more information about that, check the link in the description. All right, so this got all colored and ready to go. And then I moved on to trees. Now for most of the trees, for the deciduous trees, I use super trees from Scenic Express. And this is just some dried up plant. I'm not sure what the plant is. I think it's some kind of a sage plant. And you can use these as is. Just one piece, kind of separate them to do some small trees, but they're kind of long and narrow, so they don't really work real well by themselves. But you can kind of add different ones together, and then I use masking tape at the bottom just to tape them together. You notice you have some curls there on the ends. A lot of times I'll just break those off. They don't look too realistic. So here, most of them, the ones that were curled, were kind of broken off. And when you put them in glue, it kind of flattens out also. So here I have a bunch of them that I kind of put together with masking tape, and just kind of did it by feel and by look. These kind of have this curling way to them. So when I put them together, I put the curls toward each other, and they have a way of kind of canceling each other out. And then it curls a lot at the very tip, and sometimes I'll just kind of take that off. For the leaves, I use something from Knock called Super Leaves, and this is a dark or medium color, I believe it is. And I wanted to use a light color too, but they were out of it. But anyway, this is the color I used, appropriate for summer, I think. And I have a Folgers coffee container that I've been using for diluted white glue. And one thing you definitely want to make sure you do is kind of shake out the drops of glue, so you don't want any of the glue going into the catch container. And you just kind of sprinkle the leaves on, and you have yourself a tree. And then I will take that and I hang it upside down. I have a little line. Didn't get a video of it, but I have a line. It's basically some nylon line that I just stretch across 2 points about maybe 10 feet, and then I'll take some clothespin and I will attach these to the line hanging upside down with the clothespin. That kind of helps everything, some of the curls to kind of straighten out a little bit. The glue makes the sage a lot more flexible to where you can kind of, bend them, get the curl out of it, kind of push the pieces together so it looks good, and then you hang it up. If there's any empty spots or whatever, sometimes I'll just take a piece and a small piece and just kind of stick it in there to kind of fill it in. Something a little bit bigger than that one didn't work very well. I decided this piece is sticking out here, so I took that off and I stuck it in the middle. So you may do some little, changing of things so that it looks as much like a natural tree as possible. Here we'll do one more. Make sure you shake off the drops to limit the amount of glue that gets in the catch container. The catch container, then when I keep on doing trees, I will reuse that's fallen through and not landed on the tree. So this one little container I have will pretty much do all the trees in that box, which is about 30 trees. So the sage cost, the foliage material cost $40, and the leaf was $10. I think it was $7 something actually. So altogether is about almost $50 for about 30 trees, which isn't too bad. Usually, I figure if I get less than $2, here's some Woodland Scenic ones. But anyway, I figure if I get less than $2 per tree, I'm doing good, especially for large trees. All right, and one thing about the prototype is there are these pine trees, and I still haven't figured out if they were planted there or if they're natural. So rather, what I'm using for these is some already made pine trees from Woodland Scenics. And these are 4 inches to 6 inches. So that's about the right size, I figured. And they are, in fact, I kind of separated them out. Those are 4 inches, and they do actually come out to be 4 inches. Sometimes they exaggerate on the size. So these are 5 inches, and then these are indeed, exactly. Some of them are a little bit over 6, some less than 6, but so they are definitely 4 to 6 inches for the size of the trees. So I was happy about that. And here I went ahead and climbed under the layout, got back into the corner, and planted a bunch of trees. So this was my first attempt. And you see, I kind of hid the corner there, but where the mirror hits the backdrop. And then had more deciduous trees on the right side than there is on the prototype, but the idea was to block the image in the mirror. And you see where I put the rocks also. So there are additional rocks around other than just the 2 rock formations. And so here's how it turned out. I did put 1 extra tree in there to kind of block that, so that kind of worked. I did that instead of putting in the sign. The sign was way too small to do anything when I got it, but You can still see it. Definitely is a big improvement, but the main drawback here is the blue sky there by the mirror just looked wrong. And then you could see too much of the um, rock formation in the mirror. At certain places, you could, almost see the entire thing. So I was looking at this, trying to figure out what was going on. I did a live video on Friday. Got some good suggestions from a lot of people watching the live video when I had this. And this actually was pretty good. I really liked the way the interstate goes into the mirror, and then you get not only the continued scenery that's being reflected, but then also the backdrop in the way distance. I think that looks pretty awesome. So this mirror is definitely working out. And so this is I did some more work. I kind of added or repositioned the trees so that they stood up a little bit taller than what they were at first. And now this is definitely much better. Where the mirror meets the backdrop, I got more trees in there to cover that up a lot better. And then the rock formation in the mirror is pretty well hidden. Now you can see it, but unless you're looking for it, and here it looks, can't hardly notice it at all. So unless you're actually like conscious, okay, is it there or can I see it? It really isn't noticeable at all. And definitely when you're looking at the tracks, when watching a train go by, here again you can see the rocks. Doesn't look exactly like the prototype. I also put in some more trees and some things in the border there. But anyway, it doesn't look exactly like the prototype, but it definitely looks good to have more additional rocks rather than this big, huge rock formation sticking out on its own. So overall, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Now this is about somebody who is like less than 5 feet 6 inches. So I'm holding the camera down a little bit. And I think here in a little bit I'm going to show you what it looks like from my eye level. Okay, so that's kind of from my eye level, that's what I see. And again, when you're watching trees, you won't notice it at all. And even if you're looking specifically at the scenery, I don't think you would. I mean, you can see the other rock formation in the mirror, but I don't think it's obvious that it's the same thing. I think there's enough. And I put some more blue sky up there. That's in case. I might put some blue sky above the mirror since you can see the white. But when you're operating trains, it's not really something that's going to be an issue. So it's done finally, and I get to work on this section here. I'm so happy to move to a new section. Spent a lot of time on the Taggart tunnels and so forth. I'm going to work on Granger. I always do the top level first, so I'm going to this week be putting in some ground cover here. I'll paint everything and put in ground cover. I hope to get this crossing installed. This is by Details Plus. And then I have a controller from Logic Rails and server there from Logic Rail Tech. So I'm going to be installing those, and I'm going to do a review on those also by Details Plus. And then when I get the Granger done on top, then I'll do the Wholesome Cement and Devil Slide, and then finally get all the way around. Hoping by the first of the year, we'll have all of it done all the way around the layout for basic scenery. Now again, I'll come back eventually and put more details like getting the Envirotex or some kind of a shiny covering or coat on the rivers. Make sure I got the color right. That will be one thing. Some other details I'm going to put on here is the telephone lines that go over Taggart Mountain and across the river. Going to be putting there some more work again on this river. So still a lot of details to put in. Going to be adding, well, one thing I'm going to do also is there's a chain link fence between the roadway and the double slide. And actually there's a sidewalk in there also. So I'll be putting a sidewalk in there. And it's going to eventually, with all the details done, it's going to look pretty nice. And then, of course, in between all that time, I got a lot of weathering. I want to get all my equipment weathered. So still plenty to do on the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision. It's been a long journey to get this section done. The first part of the Weber River Canyon. Once I get Granger and Wholesome Cement done, then we'll switch over to the Echo Canyon, which is from Echo through Emory and then up the Wasatch Grade. Well, thank everyone for watching. Really appreciate your support. Again, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell and comment also. That's always appreciated. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great week. Stay tuned for more. Take care.